following episode contains spoilers. If you don't want me to ruin the movie for you, pause this podcast and come back when you've seen it. From this point on, everyone is at their own risk. Sincerely yours, Management. Welcome everyone to Lights Camera Podcast, a program dedicated to all those cinema lovers. I'm Sofia Erlet and I'm glad to be one more episode here with you. In this episode, we'll be talking about La La Land, the movie that was nominated for 14 Academy Awards in 2017. As always, I invite you to get comfy and grab some snacks. With no further ado, let's get down to this episode. Aspiring actress Mia serves lattes to movie stars in between auditions, and jazz musician Sebastian scrapes by playing cocktail party gigs in a dingy bars. But as success mounts, they are faced with decisions that fray the fragile fabric of their love affair, and the dreams they work so hard to maintain in each other threaten to rip them apart. This movie first came out on December the 25th, 2016. It was directed by Damien Chazelle, also known for directing Whiplash in 2014. This movie also features great actors such as Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling as the leading characters, but we also have famous secondary characters like John Legend and J.K. Simmons. This movie was nominated for 14 Academy Awards and won 6 of them, 7 Golden Globes and took all of them, and was also nominated for 11 BAFTA Awards in which won 5 of them. So, let's talk La La Land, the movie with a Hollywood story and a Game of Thrones ending. And let me tell you that this episode would be a little different, since I don't really want to focus on the story, since I believe the story is somehow basic and kind of cliche, Two strange people have a half flirtatious and half hateful relationship, and then something happens, in this case, a freaking musical number, and they fall in love. As the movie progresses, there's a roller coaster of emotions and problems, and in the end, we're all disappointed and sad because these two characters don't end up together, For me, this was a good thing, since many Hollywood movies give us those fairy tales endings, nothing real, nothing concrete. And so this movie gives us an ending more attached to reality, which is, just because you supposedly know someone who feels like the love of your life, doesn't mean you're destined to be together, Like my crush and I, we're really good friends. I love the fact that the movie lasts 2 hours and uses those 2 goddamn hours to make us fall in love with them and their relationship, and then everything falls apart, it crumbles away. But that's the story of the movie, simple and kind of uncomplicated. Today we're going to focus on what for me is truly La La Land, an audiovisual masterpiece that transcends a simple story. So come with me to break down the meaning behind the aesthetics and styles of La La Land. First of all, let's talk about the colors of the movie. All the colors in the movie represent something. And no, I'm not crazy talking. Let's keep in mind that the colors of the film are vibrant, and given how exciting the film is, they contrast very well. There's something much more colorful about La La Land compared to other movies, and that's because of the use of primary colors. Red, yellow, blue. Well, I think I don't have to stop and explain the primary colors. Linus Sandgren, the director of photography, uses these colors as a symbol of Hollywood. Now, here comes my theory of separation and union of colors. Okay, when Mia and Sebastian don't know each other and there's no spark, the primary colors are separated. They're found on people's clothes, for example. In the party scene with the song Someone in the Crowd, Mia and her friends are wearing primary colored dresses, and by the time they arrive at the party, everything is in a blue contrast. Another example is when Mia and Sebastian talk at each other at that party during the day, that pool party where she asks the band with who Sebastian plays to play a song he's very uncomfortable performing. You notice that she's wearing a yellow dress and he wears a red shirt. But when we go to that famous tap scene, the poster scene, the sky is like an indigo color, which is a blue shooting purple. But they're still wearing separate primary colors clothes. But the sky is the union of the color and symbolizes the approach of the two of them. And since there, we can observe as everything is a union of these primary colors, ergo, the union of them in a relationship. Other examples include, the jazz club scene, where Sebastian is playing the piano and Mia's dancing. You can see that the color of the scene is kind of like in an orange tone. Or the observatory scene, where they're dancing their lives away. You have a purple tone in the shoot. And finally, the famous green of the scene where they sing City of Stars, City of Stars, are you shining just for me? Okay? So, just so we're on the same page, the separation of colors occurs in the clothes and the lights. This symbolizes the fact that neither Mia and Sebastian had that spark of love, or whatever. And the fusion of these colors occurs in the background of each scene, in the lights, in the photography. And this symbolizes their union as a couple, or the spark that they have. Now, let's get into the regression and separation of the colors. We realize that nothing is mixing as it should be, and that's when everything is going wrong, and it begins, as I said, a regression in their relationship. For example, when Sebastian starts playing with his new jazz band, and he starts to distance himself from Mia, the primary colors that were united begin to disintegrate, and we can actually see this in the clothes of the band members. Or when Sebastian, again, didn't go to Mia's presentation, the color of the shot was distinctively blue. There was no longer a mixture of colors. And now that I think about it, Sebastian was kind of like a douche. Yeah. Now, we move on to one of the last scenes. That's where Mia and Sebastian imagine what might have been. In the montage, the primary colors are displayed more than ever. You have a scene that's all red, a scene that's all blue, black and white, etc. And at its point, everything looks tender but feels like off. Like one-dimensional. Here, after watching the goddamn movie for like the 7th time, I realized that the colors were indeed something important and symbolic. Another very important thing about the film and what gives it life is the choreographed movement of the camera at the moment of shooting a scene. And I know what you're thinking. Sophia, the movie already has choreography, color, music, and good actors. How can you say that this is what gives it life? Blah. Well, let me tell you, if this movie had a still camera, just shooting the choreography and the actors, this would be another meaningful movie, another meaningful musical. It wouldn't be something transcendental or something out of the ordinary. The camera is not like mounted on a person dancing around, risking that the camera might fall off and break. No. Damien Chazelle explained that the camera was moved to the rhythm of the choreography or music. For example, the scene of Another Day of Sun, which is the scene that opens the movie, one of my favorite scenes, since it's an explosion of primary colors with a very well developed choreography that the camera follows. Or the party scene with the song Someone in the Crowd. The camera follows Mia and her friends to the party and follows the whole choreography and even gets in the pool and goes round and round, like the song Round and Round of Kesha and Flo Rida to follow the choreography. Also, another example might be the famous tap dance. The scene from the poster. And another one of my favorite scenes which was the scene at the jazz club, where Sebastian is playing the piano and Mia is dancing. This was one of the scenes that I liked the most because of the way it was shot. And the camera, it didn't have any cuts. It captured the moment between these two people. It shot in a sequence going from Gosling to Stone. And what Damien Chazelle did was tap the cameraman's shoulder every time he had to change focus. And it just came out great, And that brings me to my next point. The long, uncut scenes are what hypnotizes us about the movie. Something that the director played well because it keeps us focused on what's happening in the scene without ruining with so much cuts. This film is perfect with all its mix of colors, shot, photography, performances, choreography, music, etc. This, for me, makes it a very good movie. And that's why at the moment of the mistake in the Oscars, I felt really bad. If you didn't watch the 2017 Oscars or you don't remember what happened, at the moment they were announcing the Best Picture, they called out La La Land, and the whole cast and crew was on the stage thanking everyone, and then they realized the winner was Moonlight. I mean, yes, Moonlight is an excellent film with a very good story and actors, but I think that was all. The movie doesn't go beyond that. There wasn't any aesthetic or style like La La Land had. But, well, I'm happy with all the awards it got because it actually got a lot. This movie also feels like it's not only a love letter to Los Angeles, but it's also a love letter to all those people who are chasing their dreams. Do you feel the same way? Do you think this is also true? Now, a very interesting fact about the movie is when they shot Another Day of Sun, and this is a fun fact. Another Day of Sun is the first scene, the scene that opens the movie. And they had to close the Los Angeles highway because if you take a look, that's where the scene takes place. Underneath the highway, you can see cars passing by, and the scene took some time to shoot since Damien Chazelle was into the idea of shooting at the sunniest hour so that the color contrast would look better. But just imagine how great that freaking felt, to be able to close a whole highway to shoot one scene that lasted 4 minutes. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, that is dedication. And now I'll give you the rates given to this movie. IMDb gave it an 8.8 out of 10. Metacritic gave it a 91%, and Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 94%. What do you think? Did it deserve these scores? So that's it for this episode. I hope you liked it. And what did you guys think about this movie? Good? Bad? I really hope you liked it. And if you didn't notice about the things I'm talking about, you should go back and watch the movie so you can confirm what I'm actually saying. Remember to follow Lights Camera Podcast on Instagram and Facebook to be notified of new content, to give your opinions, or decide what other series or movies I should talk about. If you're listening this podcast on YouTube, remember to subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll tune in again next week. Take care, drink lots of water, and keep consuming cinema. Bye!